Fire on the mountain. Could be lighting in the air. But whoa, let's back up. Here we have the Darrington Ranger Station. Now this pack horse team was probably going up to support fire watch lookouts, which existed all over the Northwest to find out where the fire was. Then they'd use maps to pinpoint it between the different fire stations. Sometimes they probably used airplanes to help spot it. But anyway, it all added up to finding out where the fire was and the best approach to fight it. Early radio. Next was the debriefing, and to let all the firefighters and personnel up there know exactly what was expected of them and how they were going to approach this particular fire. Now this is a little bit long here, but it showed all the faces pretty good, so I thought somebody might see somebody they know. But basically the firefighters would go in to get their lecture, and always at the end would be the Forest Service people who would be giving the lecture. And finally, the big shots would come in. You can always tell them because they were wearing ties, even sometimes up in the woods. I thought it was kind of ironic and funny. Once a plan had been made, then it was time to equip the men with their shovels, axes, gloves, and work gear and other provisions in order for them to be up working on the fire line and trying to stop whatever was going on. Now, I'm not sure if this was in Darrington or Lyman, but it's pretty good footage. Now, that color footage is again blended with a little black and white. It's probably not shot on the same day, I believe. But this shows the truck caravans and their canopy tops, and they were getting ready to roll. It was quite a big undertaking, I think. And by the way, if anybody knows what kind of trucks those are, I'd appreciate finding out. As a matter of fact, anybody that knows anything about what you're seeing here should get in touch with me. I'm trying to put something together, and I think it would be a fun little film once it's done. There's a lot of good footage besides this. Here we'll go back into some color footage, and it's the same thing, trucks being loaded up and the men being taken out. Right here, does anybody recognize those mountains in the background? It would be some useful information. It doesn't ring a bell with me, but I'm not up there a lot. Once the destination was reached by vehicle, some kind of base camp was set up. Looks like in a landing or just a wide spot in the road. I'm not sure. But this would be a place where they could get all their provisions and have a chow line and be ready to hit the fire lines, because that's what they were up there for, and it was a tough job. A major portion of their time was set actually digging a fire break by hand, as you can see here. And that's pretty arduous work. If you ever dug up a stump or done anything like that, you can see it's tough work. There's a lot of roots, and they had to make this fire line so in the event of a fire, it could be stopped. Now, I think this is possibly practice footage of them doing the same thing they needed to do, but it was done just to train the individuals who were starting out on their job. In an effort to innovate, the Forest Service incorporated this machine. It was some kind of rototiller that had a bicycle wheel in front, and it was so heavy it had to be pulled along by another man. When I showed this to a good friend of mine, he was astonished, and he said that thing must have been a bugger to operate out in the woods with all the hills, gullies, and rocks and everything. But they tried it in an effort to save time and money and maybe make it a little quicker. I don't know if it worked or not. You ever seen one before? Here too is another piece of equipment, a portable pump, gasoline I imagine, put into a stream and manned by several men, and it couldn't have been there to fight a forest fire, but probably to put embers out after one had passed over, possibly hose down the fire line. I'm not sure, but they tried it. So in conclusion, if you do know anything about what's going on here, this film, get a hold of me. If you recognize anybody, get a hold of me, because I'm trying to put this together into a more lengthy, informative type thing. And I think I'm going to end here with a little bit of free time they had, because they did have free time, probably not so much when the forest was on fire, but in their daily life, they came down to their base camp and had a little fun like anybody does. And look, they all look pretty healthy and happy. And that was one of the main things. Give them jobs and give them a reason to go on. Y'all take care. Good night.